At the turn of the 21st century, we were absolutely obsessed with the future. Seriously, we had just survived the whole millennium bug scare without our global infrastructure collapsing. And for a brief, magical moment, there was this overwhelming sense of glittering, utopian futurism. You didn't just see it in our new tech, you saw it right there in our wardrobes. So let's dive into this explainer and unpack how a single, highly specific color came to completely define an entire era of R&B.
Now, this futuristic optimism, it was literally painted in one specific luminously liquid color. We call it millennium blue, or sometimes extreme baby blue. It was the foundational hue for what designers now call the Frutiger Arrow or the Y2K wet aesthetic. Think glossy textures, impossible reflections, and gradient blues that looked almost wet to the touch. It was everywhere, guys, from those spaceship-like sets in high-budget music videos all the way down to the frosted blue eyeshadow on every pop and R&B diva of the time.
Here is our blueprint for today. We'll be hitting 1. The Millennium Blue Obsession, 2. The Destiny's Child Blueprint, 3. Suits of Armor, 4. Cyberfuturism in R&B, and finally, 5. The Solo Icon Shift. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Millennium Blue Obsession. Okay, so what's truly fascinating is how far back this color actually goes. While we instantly associate it with the year 2000, it's technically a variation of the iconic Tiffany blue, which was created way back in 1845 by Charles Louis Tiffany for his mail-order Blue Book. It actually wasn't until 1998 that the company officially trademarked the color, and perfectly aligning with the turn of the millennium, Pantone officially standardized it in 2001, naming it 1837 Blue, to honor the year the jewelry house was founded. Almost overnight, it became the visual shorthand for luxury meets the future. And get this, the psychological grip this exact shade has on us is measurable. Research cited in Tatler Asia shows that just catching a glimpse of a trademark Tiffany blue box spikes a person's heart rate by over 20%. It triggers this instant physical reaction tied to luxury, aspiration, and romance. R&B stylists in the 2000s were totally tapping into that deeply ingrained psychological trigger when they drenched their artists in this palette.
And if you look at the recent data, there's a massive spike happening right now. Driven largely by TikTok creators, modern audiences are bringing the Y2K aesthetic roaring back. They're actively studying and recreating the specific visual language from this era. We're looking back because, well, the 2000s look is suddenly the future of fashion all over again.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Destiny's Child Blueprint.
No one utilized this coordinated, futuristic aesthetic quite like Destiny's Child. They completely evolved the whole concept of the girl group uniform. Look back at 1960s Motown groups like the Supremes. The strategy was perfectly matching outfits to symbolize unity. Destiny's Child totally flipped the script on that. They pioneered a coordinated but not matching look. So they might all wear the same watermelon pinks and greens or the same crystal embellishments, but the cuts were completely unique to each member. It showed fierce group cohesion while letting their individual personalities and body types shine.
But here's the wild part. They weren't just pulling these looks off a designer rack. The mastermind behind this unified image was Beyoncé's mom, Tina Knowles. Back in Houston, Miss Tina and Uncle Johnny were literally hand-sewing the group's early costumes in the back of her salon, headliners. Working on a super tight budget, she used high-shine fabrics, satin, sequins, lace, to manually craft that futuristic, star-quality aesthetic from scratch.
Section 3. Suits of Armor. Let's talk about the adversity they faced, because at the beginning of their immense success, high-end luxury fashion houses flat out refused to dress Destiny's Child. Miss Tina has been super open about this. The group was dismissed by the fashion elite as, quote, too urban, curvy black girls, or too country. Even their own label told them they were limiting their crossover appeal, basically saying their look was too black. It is a stark reminder of the massive barriers that existed, even for artists topping the charts.
But that rejection didn't stop them. It completely fueled them. Tina financed the vision herself when the label wouldn't. Years later, when Beyoncé accepted her 2016 CFDA Fashion Icon Award, she poignantly referred to those early DIY hand-sewn creations as their suits of armor. Those high-shine, coordinated outfits were literal defense mechanisms that forced the industry to look at them as undeniable, larger-than-life stars.
And that gives us one of their most culturally defining moments. At the 2001 MTV Icon tribute to Janet Jackson, the trio stepped out in a look that was basically the Y2K wet aesthetic in physical form. We're talking vibrant floral bustiers, with Kelly Rowland completely owning that perfect aqua blue, paired with ultra-low-rise jeans and these dramatic crystal-embellished belts. It was cohesive, it was futuristic, and it leaned so heavily into that millennium color palette.
Oh, and Miss Tina knew exactly how to color code a revenge look. For the 2001 Grammys, where they won for Say My Name, the velvet ropes from the high-end designers were still up. So Tina hand-stitched them shimmering gold lace gowns. She essentially dressed the group as walking Grammy trophies, sending a highly visible direct message right back to the exact fashion houses that had rejected them. Iconic.
Moving on to Section 4, Cyberfuturism and R&B.
Destiny's Child opened the floodgates for what fans now call the Y2 craze. This whole cyberfuturism era had a very specific visual language. If you were a music group in the year 2000, your checklist essentially included coordinated denim, heavy blue gradients, dancing in front of futuristic chrome backgrounds, and relying heavily on silver metallics to create this sort of cyborg-light fantasy.
Take the girl group 3LW, for example. In their 2000 debut single, No More, they brought this awesome street-chic edge to the Millennium Blue palette. They fully embraced the coordinated denim and those soft blue gradients that totally captured the cool, tech-optimistic energy of the time.
And then there was Dream, the girl group formed under P. Diddy. In their video for He Loves You Not, they took this aesthetic to its absolute peak. They utilized that classic 2000s chrome background and combined silver metallics with millennium blue textures. It was that exact blend of technology and fashion that completely defined the early aughts.
Finally, Section 5, the solo icon shift.
As individual stars broke out on their own, they pushed the blue obsession even further. Christina Aguilera actually earned the title of Millennium Genius for pairing vibrant aqua tops with what became the defining footwear of the decade, the square-toe sandal. And we definitely can't forget icons like Alicia Keys, who used the turquoise and aqua family to completely redefine red carpet formal wear, famously pairing blue jeans with a sheer turquoise dress and matching glittery eyeliner at the 2002 Grammys. The color remained, but the application became so much more individualized.
And then look at Beyoncé's brilliant, calculated style pivot for her solo debut. Moving away from the intricate, larger-than-life group costumes of Destiny's Child, her video for Crazy in Love stripped everything all the way back to a crisp white tank top and custom-tailored denim shorts. It created a relatable, luxury blueprint that fans could actually recreate at home, perfectly establishing her new solo branding.
Looking back, this era wasn't just about frosted blue eyeshadow or shiny fabrics. It's a true masterclass in fashion resilience, branding, and turning industry rejection into an iconic visual identity that people are still rushing to copy today. So I've got to ask, from the intricate Destiny's Child suits of armor to the sleek solo looks, which 2000s R&B coordinated look was your absolute favorite? Drop a comment and let me know. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.